Well, thank you guys for joining. Hopefully you got a lot out of our last session. I know that was a little more Spinzo 1.0, so this is going to be a little bit more Spinzo 2.0 today. We are going to hit on the topics of immersive design, which will be what we cover first, and then everyone's favorite free tier programs. And then last, we'll walk through our flex plan technology, which again is a little bit more Spinzo 2.0 or 3.0 in our world. For those of you, hopefully everyone knows who I am. My name is Denise Sickenetter. I head sales and service at Spinzo. I've got my trusty colleagues on, Emmanuel and Kyra. I'll let them quickly introduce themselves and we'll dive right in.
I'm Emmanuel Almagian. I'm the CEO of Spinzo and looking forward to showing you some of the more advanced features.
Hi guys, I'm Kyra Pritchard and I'm the Director of Sales and Marketing, and I am the newest addition to the Spinzo team. Been here for about 4 months.
All right, let's go ahead and dive in. We are going to jump into immersive design and walk through kind of all the different functionality you have at your fingertips for this. Again, if you have questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. And we'll also leave some time at the end if there are any other questions of things we may not have covered today that have come up. You've got us live, so we are happy to help. So I'll turn it over to Emmanuel and Kyra to jump into immersive design.
Great. Well, I'll kick it off just this moment and remind everyone that last time we were building on the Carolina Hurricanes. They're a client of ours, but this is just a test example. And if you guys were on the last one, one of the test examples we did was Delta Airlines. So I'll just open that to show you what that kind of ended up as. Game one was against Tampa Bay Lightning. It included a pregame chalk talk, and this is what the promotion looked like. So Kyra is now going to walk us through how we can use immersive design to make this page look better.
Awesome. So let's make this design look a lot more like Delta branding. So let's spruce it up a little bit. What we're going to do is we're going to go in and edit the group. And as you see, there's a little checkbox that says customize header or branding. So if Manuel clicks that, it opens up your branding options.
Hi, Spinzo Train free. It's a chance for like a free DoorDash gift card.
And then go ahead and click the branding options. Okay, so this is going to be where you can edit and get really detailed with your design. So where I like to come in and start is I like to start by uploading an image. This is kind of going to give you the foundation to choose your colors and all your other details. So Amanda's going to go in and upload an image. He has a Delta image already saved on his desktop.
And this is the background image, right, Kyra? This, yeah.
Correct. Yep. So this is going to be what's going to be displayed on the background of the promotion. So if he clicks out to the promotion, you can see now that instead of having the standard image that we had before, now we have this plain image here. Now you can see by default, there was a little bit of a white overlay on the image background. So it kind of whitens the image up a little bit. So if you wanted to go in and change that and darken it and the overlay functionality here, you can click customize. And then you can choose the color that you want to overlay on top of the image. And then you can also change the opacity of how dark or how light you want that to be. So Manny will just play around with it a little bit. And I think 35 should be good. And so now when we come back out, you see that that image pops a lot more now. So looking pretty good. If we go back in, the next thing that I want to do now that we have the image, we can choose our color accents. And so the neat thing about the color accents is that you can choose a primary and secondary color directly off the image that you uploaded. So using our neat little color dropper, you can just go in, click that Delta blue, and then click that Delta red. So that saves you a lot of time of having to scroll and try to find the perfect match of the blues and the red. Awesome. So if you go back out to the promotion, you can kind of see what those color accents did now for the page. So now you see there's little blue and red details all throughout the page with the text boxes. And that's looking pretty nice. Awesome. So now let's say that we want to get rid of our contact boxes. So if you saw on the page, there was a bunch of little white boxes. So let's say that we wanted those to be completely gone and we want it to be completely transparent. Cool thing you can do here is you can actually remove those. You can change the opacity to 0, and you can change the text color to white here. And then if we go back out to the page, you'll see that now those contact boxes are completely gone. So in some instances, it might be hard to read the text depending on what kind of image you have in the background. But in some cases, it looks kind of cool to not have any of those contact boxes show up.
One thing we can do, Kyra, is maybe darken the background even more, and that might make these pop out more. And also, we can either change the ribbon color or we can actually remove the ribbon entirely. So maybe we could try that, see how that looks.
Yeah,
So
usually the darker the overlay, the easier it is for the text to be read.
yeah, so I'll put opacity 65, and it's a blue tinge, so it's making the background image like slightly blue, which I think is a nice effect. And then we'll go to the ribbon, and you could change the color of the ribbon. The ribbon is this red part here. You could change the color, but let's pull that down to 0 and let's make that text white. So let's try that.
It's really trial and error. It's just playing with a bunch of different options that you have.
So I think that's looking pretty good right now because we darkened the background. But the thing is here, the Delta logo is a little harder to see here. So what might we do for that?
So now you can actually go back in and you can add a white text box around that Delta logo. So if you just click this box here that says apply a white background with curved edges, now if you go back into the promotion, you'll see that there is a white text box added there. And so that works great for any logos that might not look best directly on top of your background image. We always suggest that as a best practice to add that white curved background. Now on this page, you also see that everything right now is kind of inline, so it scrolls down accordingly. You have everything all on one side. Let's say that you want to switch things up and kind of move things around. So let's go into our placement options here. So you'll see in under buying options, you can actually change the display format right now. It's in button form. And so you can go through and you can see now that when you go back into the promotion, their buying options will now hide behind a button. So they won't appear directly on the page. Now you can have a button there where the buyer will have to click the button to see the different seating chart and the seating options. And that's always a nice feature. Usually if you have a lot of things going on the page, kind of streamlines everything a little bit. You can also order your different sections on the page as well. So let's say we want to move our who's going and our leaderboard feature to the top of the page. That's important information and we want people to see it as soon as they go. You can actually reorder what's on top and what's on the bottom. And so if we save that and go back out to the page, you'll see now that the first thing that it shows is that leaderboard and that who's going feature. And it reorders everything back onto the top of the page. Awesome. So it's looking pretty good. Now, my favorite thing to do with these promotions to make it really come to life is add a background video. So Emmanuel has a Delta video that we saved here. So you can actually go in and upload a video. And we have already trimmed it and cropped it, so it should be good. And if we go back out to the page, now it looks a lot more spruced up. Now this has really come to life. You see the Delta plane taking off in the background. And this is really neat for any kind of game you want to highlight, any event, any show. It really makes your promotions come to life and gives you that unique branding. So that's my favorite feature for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anything more, Kyra, on Immersive?
No, that's all I have.
Great. So I would just say like how important this is that we've learned at Spinzo for when you do something like a corporate group for Delta, this just took a few minutes to make this. And we've been talking through it. So really you could do it in 3-4 minutes. How much more important it is to make this immersive branding. If you're working with a company like Delta or any company or group or school that you do, it will greatly increase the chances that they're going to send it out properly and not just put a link on their intranet page, that they'll actually actively engage their employees to buy tickets. So it's very important, and I wouldn't miss the opportunity to enhance your pages. We believe there's no platform like Spinzo to be able to make cohesive branding like this. And this includes for your sponsors too. So if your team has a good relationship with your sponsorship department, I would recommend looping them in, because maybe Delta is a sponsor and you can include these kind of graphics on regular group pages. So another thing to consider.
Absolutely. And I want everyone to understand that we were doing this at the group level. So this would hit every sales event that the group Delta has. You can do this at the sales event level. So if you have a, Hello Kitty themed night, you have a Margaritaville night, if you want to make that page pop, just that sales event, you can do this at just that sales event too. So keep that in mind, that you have sales event level, group level, and then ideally, whoever is managing your overall Spinzo seller would be doing this at the seller level for you through our templates. But there is a lot of flexibility at the different levels in Spinzo to do this design customization.
Yep. And I would say at the branding options level, if your team does have multiple templates, which the Hurricanes seem to have here, then you could always start from one of those templates. So at the top right here, it's by default pulls the default template, but you could start with the light player background with a button seating, for example, and then customize from there. So this is where you would choose the base template, but then you could customize from there as well. Great. So next up, free tier programs. So I'm going to talk through that. So for this, we'll still do it on Delta. We'll keep the immersive design, but I'm going to I'll unpublish this game for now, just so it's out of our way. So with free tier program, this is a way to give free tickets to fans, buyers. So in this case, it'd be, let's say, Delta Airlines employees. So to do that, we always recommend to start by creating the free tier program. So if we go in here to free tier programs, we'll see that there's a bunch in here from the Carolina Hurricanes, but we're just going to make a brand new one here for, say, Delta Airline employees. And I like to put the date on here because you might have a new program next year. You might have a new way to award free tickets. Maybe next year you only give one free ticket. Maybe this year you give two. So you could choose that. So paid unit name. So this is when someone is getting free tickets, there's the free tickets and then there's the additional tickets that they could buy that are not free. And you could choose what these are called. So sometimes kids tickets are free. Sometimes employee tickets are free. So in this case, let's just call this additional tickets. That's the paid additionals. And for free, let's call these employee tickets, right? Because maybe each employee is entitled to one or two tickets, let's say. So we'll call it that. So now this is the crux of the matter here. How should the free tickets be awarded? And so there's 4 methods to award free tickets. There's no requirement, minimum requirement, ratio, and flex codes. So I'm going to go through each one so that you could see how they're all different. So we'll start with no requirement. So with no requirement, and it's written right here what happens, a buyer can redeem free tickets without having to purchase any paid tickets, right? So anything with a red asterisk in Spinzo is a required field, and this one is required because we have to know what the free unit limit is per buyer. So how many free tickets can they get? So let's say that's going to be 2. So we could put 2 in here. The only last item that's required here is the buyer-facing description. So this appears on our checkout page right above where they select seats. So in this case, because there's no requirement for them to enter any codes, that anyone who just accesses this page gets free tickets, we might just say, enjoy your 2 free tickets. So we'll just say that, very basic. So now we made the free tier program. So now we can go back to our Delta group, and I'm just going to make a new sales event just to make it clean there. So we'll go to PNC Arena. We'll choose game 2 against New Jersey Devils. Save that. So now we're going to give free tickets, but the key is when you're building this out, you're building it out just for the paid additional tickets when you build your offer. Okay, so right now you're just acting as if you're selling tickets at the regular price or the additional ticket price. So if you recall last time, the price codes that the Hurricanes used was VGSC, so we're going to put that in there. Just open. We had done dynamic pricing last time, but we don't have to do it for this. On this example, I'll just say these tickets are $60, let's just say, on that. Now, normally if I save this, I've just made a $60 offer for Club Select North seats. But now I'm going to attach a free tier program. So hit this check mark, and then I can choose from the list, and I could search for it, Delta. So that's all I need to do, really. There is an option here for price override. That's if the tickets are ultimately not free. And I'll go through in a moment and show you what that does. And these boxes are more advanced. These are for your ticket operations. This is if Delta paid you in advance for these tickets, you could actually customize the price that goes in to Arctics, even though the buyer pays nothing on them. But let's leave these blank for now, and I'll save it, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so this one's saved. I published it. Let's take a look. So now I can go to buying options, and you'll see now Club Select North, it says complimentary because we attached a free tier program and additional seats for $69.36. The reason it says $69.36 is it's showing the all-in price. A lot of states are now doing this all-in pricing. So even though we put $60, it's showing what the all-in price is, including all fees. So now when we go in, it just says enjoy your 2 free tickets, and the buyer could go in and simply choose 2. And that's it. Actually, they don't need to buy any additional tickets. They could just select their 2 and continue as such. And now when they go to purchase, there's not even a credit card that's needed because they're unlocking 2 free tickets. So this is the least secure method to award free tickets, because essentially anyone who has the link has access to the free tickets. Now, if you want, you could actually pair this with our permitted email list functionality to make sure that anyone who proceeds to purchase this or join this offer, to make sure that they must have a delta.com email address. So I'll do that quickly. Well, we actually had a Delta one here. We had made that last time. So we already have our permitted email list for Delta employees. So all I'm going to do is tag it to Delta. And it's possible that it's already there. But this permitted email list, and there it is. So now we know that only Delta Airlines employees can buy. So even though you have no requirement set for the free tier program, you're okay, because the only people who could actually participate in this must have a Delta Airlines email address. So that's no requirement. You don't have to enter any codes. You don't need to buy any free tickets. Someone could just go in and get the free tickets. So next up, let's go to minimum requirement. So the minimum requirement, it means that the buyer must purchase 1 or more tickets in order to unlock all the free ones. So what you could do here is say, in order to unlock your 2 free Delta Airlines employees tickets, you have to purchase at least 1, right? So that's what I'll do. And now I'm going to edit this buyer-facing description here to say purchase at least 1 ticket to unlock free or complimentary employee tickets. To unlock, say, 2 complimentary. And I'm just going to edit this here, additional tickets, because in this case, the paid ticket is not additional. It's not called an additional ticket. We'll just call it paid tickets. So they must buy at least 1 of the paid tickets to unlock the employee tickets. So we'll save that. And now we'll refresh this. We go to buying options. And now it has the price of the tickets. And by default, we put this thing says unlocks discounts. You can change that. You could actually, in the free tier program, there's a spot here if you want that to change, because it's unlocking a free ticket. But this tagline override, you could say purchase 1 to unlock 2 free. So just doing it quickly here. But now we'll refresh, and now it's $69.36 for tickets. Purchase 1 to unlock 2 free. So now when we go to purchase, you'll see here the paid tickets and the employee tickets, $69.00. I can't select any employee tickets, because the rule was, when we built the free tier program, was that you must buy at least 1 paid ticket to unlock 2 tickets. So now if I choose 1 ticket, now I'll be able to unlock up to 2 tickets. The key thing here is I can't get any more than 2. Like even if I get 4 paid tickets, I'm still only unlocking 2 employee tickets. So that's the key about this free tier program, which is minimum requirement, is that you need a minimum required of paid tickets to unlock the free tickets, but that's it. You can't you can't get any more than 2 free tickets. As soon as you get 1, you can only get 2. Now, if you wanted that to be a ratio, so now if maybe you're saying buy 1, get 2, but maybe if they buy 2 tickets, maybe they get 4 tickets. So that would be a ratio. Then you could use a ratio type of free tier program. So in the ratio, you're determining the ratio of how many paid tickets unlock free. So let's do what I just said. Maybe 1 paid ticket unlocks 2 free tickets. And so now you want this ratio to grow. So if I get 2 paid tickets, that'll unlock 4. 3 will unlock 6. Now, to do that properly, we're going to have to increase this 3 unit limit per buyer because this is the overall limit for how many free tickets they can get. So let's put that at 6. So every paid ticket unlocks 2 free, and there's an overall limit of 6. So we'll say here, we'll remove this tagline override, and then here we'll say every paid ticket unlocks 2 free employee tickets. Okay, so we'll save that. Now we'll go back in. Oops. Go back in, refresh. Now you'll see it says buy 1, get 2. Again, you can always customize this in the spot that I mentioned, the tagline override. But now when the buyer goes in here, paid tickets 69, employee tickets 0. I can't select any employee tickets. Similar to last time, if I select 1 paid ticket, I can now select up to 2 employee tickets that are free. But now the difference is if I want 2 paid tickets, I can get up to 4. 3 paid, I can get up to 6. So it's buy 1, get 2. But if I go beyond 6, say if I get 8 paid tickets, I still can max out at 6. And that's because at the free tier program, we had put the maximum free unit limit per buyer at 6. So it's buy 1, get 2, but it's up to 6 overall. You can change how this is. You could do buy 1, get 1. 1 and 1 is basic BOGO, but we find that boring around here. So you could change that up. You could do buy 3, get 1, right? And do it that way. And you just change that. And now when you go in, buy 3, get 1. So now paid is 69. I can't get any free. If I just get 2, I still can't get a free one. I have to get at least 3. 3 will unlock 1, right? 4 is still 1, right? So you have to get up to 6 because every 3 tickets unlocks a free. Now I can get up to 2. So that's the ratio method. So finally, we have a lot of options here for free tickets. The final one is flex codes. So with flex codes, in order to unlock the free tickets, the buyer has to enter a flex code. So let's choose this flex code option here. And we'll say maximum 6, that's fine. And we'll say use your code to unlock free tickets. Okay. So now we did that. Now if we go to the Delta program, there's a section here called view add codes. So we made this a flex code type of offer or free tier program. Now we can go and add codes. So we have this little code generator, and now we can generate codes. Let's say each code we'll say is worth 2 units. So each code can unlock 2 tickets. That's what you put here. And then here, I'll use this field for how many codes to generate. Let me generate 10 codes. You could generate 100 codes. You could generate 1,000, 10,000, whatever you want. But I'm going to just generate 10 codes for now. A couple other fields here. If there's a max per event, because you can use this across many events. So you could say each code unlocks 20 free tickets, but you could only do 1 per event. So that's what that would be for. So I'll generate these codes. So now I made 10 codes, and each code is worth 2 tickets. I'm going to copy one of these codes. And now if I go in and refresh, use your code to unlock free tickets. So now the employee tickets are 0, but I can't select any, even if I get a lot of paid tickets, 4 paid, I can't select any because in this case, you need to enter a code in order to unlock the tickets. So now I'm going to enter the code that I pasted. I hit validate. Good. So now if I look at employee tickets, I get up to 2. What's neat about our code-based system is that they're stackable. So now I'm going to copy a second code. I could paste that in here, validate. Now I have 2 codes validated. Now the employee can get up to 4 free tickets. Right? With the code-based system, you can have Spinzo generate the flex codes, which is what we did here. Spinzo generated these codes. But let's say Delta Airlines gives you a list of employee IDs or a list of email addresses, anything. You could actually upload those. So take them from Excel and just paste them in this box. And now we could do that. So let's do that. Maybe we'll do 1 this time. So we'll say each code unlocks 1 free ticket. And now let's say ABC123. That's like a, let's say an employee ID. So I can generate that. And now there's a code called ABC123. Let's assume that's my employee ID, and that's good for 1 free ticket. So now I'll refresh all this, and I put that, and now I'm good for one free ticket. So you see, in the same program, you could have codes worth different amounts. So some codes could be worth 2, some could be worth 1, some could be worth more.
David asked a question if the codes could only be used once. Technically, they're one-time use codes or until they're expunged.
Yeah.
So if you generated a code for someone that was worth 6 tickets, for example, and you allowed them to have access to multiple games, they could technically come in and use 3 tickets for one game and 3 tickets for another game. So that's a
Right.
little bit the functionality we'll talk about in our flex plan functionality. But yes, you can, and as Emmanuel, we'll go back to the code generator. You can generate a code, to Emmanuel's point. You could generate a code that's worth 10 units and say, hey, you can only use 2 per game. So it allows you to be able to, set up something that could go across multiple games, but only allow people to come 2. Are flex codes better than gating by email domain? Great question, Megan. They're used for different things. I mean, flex codes are going to limit based on the amount of the code. Usually when you're talking about email domain gating, then your unit gating is in the sales event or in the offer, if you will. So they would be different uses for each one of those. And it's really going to depend on what you're trying to accomplish with that group and the sales events, or even the group as a whole over the course of your season, how you will want to set that up.
Yeah. Another thing I'll say is if you do email gating, the person can't participate in the promotion at all unless they have that email.
That is correct.
Versus with the code method, unless you choose this option, because we have some advanced options for code-based free tiers, you could have a code or not. So you could come as an employee, use your code, and then maybe invite your friends to come sit with you, and it's without having email gating. So email gating will really restrict the whole promotion, that people must have that email address, versus in this case, it's a little more flexible in that I could even redeem for someone else. Sure. Maybe 2 families can get together and use their code in the same offer.
Yeah. Jade, great question. So if you are doing, as you saw, there could be codes that have different values. If you are uploading those, we recommend that you just sort your spreadsheet based on which ones get access to 1 code versus 2 codes versus 4 codes, and then just bulk add them based on the number of units that they get access to. So yeah, so if I was uploading all the people that had access to 3, I would go ahead and put 3 here, and then I would copy and paste all of their email addresses or their employee IDs here and hit generate codes. And then I would come back in and I would do that again. If you're working with a large scale group, what I highly recommend is, like, let's say, for example, we work with the Junior Hawks program for the Atlanta Hawks, and we're uploading emails for lots of there you go. Like, we were uploading emails for a lot of different basketball programs. What I like to do is, like, if I come in here and I say, okay, these are good for 2 units, I'll also put a custom note in there, and I'll put the actual name of the organization that I'm uploading. So for example, I'd put Alpharetta, Parks and Rec, for example, in this spot right here. And then I would upload all the emails. So now this custom note will be tied to all of those codes on the back end. So when you come in to sort and look, you can see exactly who they were uploaded for. Another key thing is once you have codes in the system, so Emmanuel, will you go to manipulate the codes now? Let's say we have our code ABC123, and some reason that person needed help and you just helped them on the side, and you now want to clear out their code. You can actually highlight a code or a set of codes, and up here you can say, I want to go ahead and make an action on this code. If you click select, you can either A, delete them, or B, you can reset the units on the code. So whether you want to reset the units to 0, or they actually needed 2 tickets, or they needed more credits, you can just go ahead and say what you want it to be reset to and hit proceed. And now as we refresh, that code is now worth 5. So you can physically change these codes either singularly or by a larger group by highlighting a certain number of them and making a change. So even if you come in and you generate codes and that's all wrong, you can select all of them and you can go ahead and delete all of them and start over.
Couple more things that I just will mention here. Actually, these are fairly new features. One is this new flex code label. So if you were doing email address, like your Delta Airlines email address or Delta email or Delta employee ID, you could put Delta employee ID here, because if that's what you're going to use as the flex code, it's important for the buyers to know that's what they should enter. So now when you do that, it says Delta employee ID here, and then the person could enter it. So it's a basic thing, but it changes the label here. So that was never possible. This is fairly new. So if it could be email address, it could be email you use to register your kid for the program. And then that email is the free tier code or the flex code. So that's one feature. And then the other feature, which is also fairly new, courtesy of Emily Hanover at the Hawks, the idea that you need to use a code in order to purchase additional tickets. Because traditionally, when you have the flex code method, you could proceed without using a flex code. So I could say, well, I don't have a Delta employee ID. I'm just going to come here and buy 3 additional tickets. You may not want that, because Delta employees might share this out to their friends and say, hey, this price is great. Why don't you just buy from my employee link? You don't need a Delta employee ID. And other people might buy from this link, which you might be okay with, or you might not. If you're not okay with that, you can select this, which is to require code usage to purchase paid units. So now it won't let the buyer proceed with just choosing paid tickets. Our system's going to say, no, you've had to have used a code in order to even purchase additional tickets. It's kind of like a safety mechanism, but that works. One more thing I'll note, because I said I would, for these free tickets, they don't have to be free. So it's called the free tier program, but they don't have to be free. So because these are club seats, maybe the Delta Airlines employees, instead of getting them for $60 plus fees, maybe they get them for $10. So you could put $10 there. So now instead of free, it's going to be $10. So now when I refresh, and of course it's adding the fees here, but employee tickets are not free anymore. They're $11.56, but I still need to enter a code to do it. And so the beauty about that is once you get going on this, you can create numerous offers here. Maybe the club seats are $11 with a code, but then you could have another seating zone that's free. So some seating zones could be free, some could be an additional amount. So that's up to you how to set that up. And maybe I could even show one of these things here. So let's say we go terrace level. So we'll do that, terrace level. And so maybe the terrace level is normally $30, but now we can attach a free tier program, Delta, and we'll leave this one blank. So in other words, the free tier for the terrace level is going to be free, but the free tier for the club level is an additional $10. So now if we go look at it, now the Delta employee can get complimentary tickets in the terrace preferred section a little further up, and additional tickets for them will be $34.68 in that zone, or they can upgrade to Club Select North, and being an employee, they get those tickets for $11.56, and additional tickets are $69. So you get to pick and choose what the kind of free or discount is, and the additional ticket price for each of your offers or seating zones. Good?
Yeah.
Was it helpful?
A lot of information, a lot of good information. So this will be is being recorded, so you'll have it to reference. And always we're here to help kind of give you fill in the gaps if you're out here making something. We're here to help. All right, let's get to flex plans. So flex plan technology in Spinzo essentially allows you to set up something where a buyer would essentially buy a flex code worth a set value. So we're going to play right now in building a traditional flex plan. We're going to say maybe a 3-game flex plan, but keep in mind this technology could be used. For example, if you were doing an out of season event and you didn't have your schedule yet, you could sell your event that came with a ticket and already have the code that's good for the game in the buyer's hands prior to the season. So there's a lot of things that this can open up for you once you understand how it's built. When we go into build a flex plan, there are 3 elements. We are going to need the purchase group and sales event. We are going to need a free tier program, which we just went over, and we'll create one for this. And then we're going to need a redemption group and the redemption sales events. So I always say that because you have to have the free tier program built and the redemption group built before you go in to build the actual purchase of the plan. So first things first, we're going to go into our free tier program and we're going to create our free tier program for the flex plan. In here, we're going to go ahead and just like Emmanuel taught us how to do, we're going to say this is our 2024-2025 3-game flex plan, or you can do 3-game flex plan 24-25, however you want to name it or what your nomenclature is. This again for page units is going to be additional tickets. Here we can write flex plan ticket. We are going to use our flex code setup here. And it's up to you if you want to require the code to purchase additional units. So again, if you want someone to be able to buy additional tickets, but you only want these additional tickets for flex plan purchasers, you can go ahead and do that. We may want to override, you can say 3-game or flex plan unit. It's up to you.
Maybe we could say from your confirmation email of your
Excuse me.
because
Yes.
when you purchase the flex plan, it will give you the code in the email from your purchase confirmation, let's say.
Perfect.
Okay.
Free unit limit per buyer. Again, this is how many codes can they stack essentially. And then at the bottom, we're going to go ahead and explain exactly what they need to do on the checkout page. So use your code, your flex code from your confirmation email to redeem your 3-game plan tickets. Additional tickets are available for purchase. You can say however, or be as verbose as you'd like to in this space. All right, so we now have our our free tier program built. So that's one element. The other element before we even build the purchase is we need to build the redemption group and grab that redemption link. So Emmanuel's going to go ahead to groups and he's going to create our 3-game plan redemption group.
And this has to be for seating zone, right, Denise?
Correct. So if you're offering multiple seating zones, we actually create a free tier program and a redemption group per seating zone. We're going to build one seating zone today to show you, but you would essentially replicate this if you had multiple seating zones.
So let's do this, the zone we did here, terrace preferred.
Terrace preferred? Perfect.
So terrace preferred. So we'll create that. Nothing else here. Maybe we can hide the
Yep, you could put your sales rep if you were doing this, and then your contact information. But essentially, once that's in there, we can go ahead and hit save.
So we'll just say maybe for the free tier, if you're doing it for multiple seating zones, which is possible, it might be beneficial because you do need one free tier
to label it. Sure.
So you might want to say terrace preferred there. So I'll just put that there.
So at this point, we have the two elements we need to go ahead and build the purchase. You could build out all of the redemption right now, but I like to go then and build the purchase first and come back and build the redemption. It's up to you how you want to do that. So to build the purchase, we're going to go ahead and create another group. And Emmanuel's going to label it. And when we get to this point, there are a couple options with regards to how you build the purchase. We traditionally like to say to build the purchase with it not touching your ticketing system, because we will hit your ticketing system when they actually redeem the specific games. If you would like this to go into the ticketing system, you can. We just need access to that event to be able to go ahead and send that in there. But let's go ahead and build it as if it was not connected. So we're still going to choose our venue. But here's where we're not going to select an event from the Ticketmaster database. We are going to come down and actually just put a sales event name. And for our event date and time, usually we like to say you use the custom text. The custom text above there. So you could say for 24-25 season. So they know there. And then you're going to choose an end time. When do you want sales for this to end?
I'll say 5 p.m. on 5 p.m. on September 30th.
Perfect. And then because we're not hitting our ticks, we are going to choose a redemption method. And in this case, we're going to just say other, because our email is going to go ahead and give them the information that they're receiving a flex code and that they can go ahead and redeem with a set link. So we are going to want to make sure that we give them a little bit of detail about that. So here's what we're going to say: to use your flex code and the link below to redeem your 3-game purchase. Now you can be more verbose in here. You can say, thank you so much for purchasing, see below. I mean, depending on how, what your tone is, you can choose the tone of what you want to say. So Emmanuel went ahead and hit save. Okay. So now we've got our group and we're built our sales event. Now we're going to build our offer. So this is where we're going to pull the elements of the free tier program and the redemption group to build. So Emmanuel's going to come in and choose the seating zone. So we did terrace preferred. He is going to put the price. Oops. You have a question, Kayla?
First.
I don't know if she had a question. Okay. You're going to put the price for the entire package. So Emmanuel's going to go ahead and choose what the price is. Let's say $90 or $120. He's more expensive than me. So he's going to put 120 there. And if we scroll down, we're going to see down here this little flex plan option. When Emmanuel clicks the button, it's going to expand and it's going to ask us, okay, you're selling a flex plan. What free tier program do you want us to generate codes in? So now we're going to go ahead and choose that free tier program that we created. Again, this is going to be the one that's tied to the seating zone if we're doing multiple seating zones. And it's going to ask us now, when you purchase this plan, how big of a code do you want us to generate? So we've said that this is a 3-game plan. So we're going to go ahead and say that every time I purchase a package, I'm going to get a code that's worth 3 units. The other little box next to that is, am I okay with them using all 3 units however they want? Or am I trying to enforce them to come to 3 games with this plan? In this instance, we're really forcing them to come to 3 games. That's kind of our intent. But if you see kind of how this can work, this can open the door for you to sell, say, like a 10-game voucher pack and just allow them to use those 10 units wherever they want. So if I spent, for example, the $120 and got 10 units, I could technically then use those 10 units wherever I want over the course of time. So we do have clients that do that as well. But if you want to force this to be a 3-game flex plan and they come to 3 games, you'll want to check that little box. And now the last piece of the puzzle is we're going to need that redemption link. So we've only created, if Emmanuel clicks back into to the back end without leaving his offer, and he goes to find our redemption group.
Flex plan redemption.
If he pulls over here this promotion link and pulls the published offers link, this link will be the one at the end of the day that will have our live redemption pages on it. So this, by adding headline information, if you don't have your schedule yet, or you don't have games live yet, you could add some headline information that says, hey, check back at this time for when you can actually redeem. But we're gonna go ahead and finish the build and showcase what that looks like once we've done that. So now we've got our redemption link and we can hit save. Those elements then allow for the confirmation email to have not only the flex code that Spinzo auto generates, but also the redemption link of where they can instantly start redeeming their games and using that flex code.
So maybe we should complete the redemption group, just add
Yep.
the here, and then we'll
Let's do that.
Okay.
So now the redemption group, we're going to go in and build this just like we were building the free tier program. So Emmanuel can choose, say, multiple events, so he can build multiple games really quickly. So we're going to choose our venue, and he's going to choose a couple of the games that this program is good for. So he went ahead and did that. He's going to come back now, and he's going to build his redemption. So he's going to go ahead and create the offer. Now, these ones are connected to Artix because we are now pushing seats in there. He's going to choose his zone, Terrace Preferred. He's going to choose his price code. And now he's going to choose the price for additional tickets, okay? So any additional tickets. So if I bought a 3-game flex plan, but now I want to bring 2 friends, I can still buy additional tickets for them right next to me. He's going to go ahead and attach a free tier program, and he's going to find his 3-game flex plan. And right now he can leave that at 0 because the person has already paid for that. Now, here's where you may want to use this custom intake information because the buyer paid $120. And if you wanted to put $40 on those tickets, you could put 40 right there as the custom intake price. Now, because Spinzo has already put the money in your bank account, you probably don't need to put a portion paid by a different payment type unless you wanted to, for some reason, separate these out. But because you have already collected the money in your bank account when they made the purchase, this is now just reconciling that money with Artix. He'll go ahead and hit save. So now both tickets, when they come into purchase, are going to go in at $40. He then can, if all of this is the same across all of the games that he's offering, he can go ahead and copy this offer to all games, perform that copy process. He can now come in and mass publish these. And we can see exactly what the redemption page looks like. So here's our redemption page. Here's all 6 of our games. Emmanuel, if you're really feeling testy, do you want to purchase?
Yes, I will.
All right. Emmanuel will go
Everyone
ahead
loves a
and
live
help
demo.
us with a purchase. What?
Everyone loves a live demo.
Yes. So let's go ahead and purchase this and show you exactly what it looks like. So you could always spruce up the page as we talked about with immersive design, but Emmanuel's going to come in and purchase his package. You're going to see it's a very basic buy flow because we're not connected to Artix. He's purchasing 2 plans. Hopefully his Canadian credit card goes through.
Yeah, that's true.
This is where live may,
Oh,
Visa wants, this is our 3D
this is
secure.
very good.
They are seeing that Emmanuel, who is located in Canada, is purchasing in Carolina, North Carolina. So he has to enter a special code. They want to make sure that he is legit.
I'm still waiting for it. Okay.
This is where it may not go as well live.
No one look at my code.
Yes, we do not speak that code to anyone.
Oh, shit.
Oh man, all right.
Okay. This ain't gonna work.
We may have to
You'd have to do it, Denise, if you want.
Yep, that's okay. I'm pulling up
I got some high security on my card.
all right.
And
You
actually,
guys are
once
all
you-
in for a live
once you-
training here.
Once you purchase it, Denise, I'll just look at your confirmation email.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and share, or oh, you want me to purchase, you stay on the
I'll
screen?
just look
Okay,
your,
all right. That is good. I can purchase too.
So as Denise is purchasing, I'll show you guys, we may have showed this in last training, you could actually see the confirmation email of your buyers as they come through. So right now, if we go to view the buyers of this, there's no one in there. But once Denise purchases, she'll be in here and we
You
could
can
actually see,
refresh.
we'll be able to see her order. So here she is. And if we go to her order And down at the bottom here, confirmation emails. This is the exact email Denise received, right? So we had here, remember we had added the redemption instructions, use your flex code and the link to redeem your games. Here is the code automatically created. You can copy this. And here is the redemption link to redeem. And so now it's just like a normal free tier program where now I can go in, flex code from your purchase confirmation and paste it. Now it's identifying we have 6 units on this code, 2 for this offer. So that means I could only use up to 2 because Denise bought 2 3-game flex plans. She could use 2 tickets for 3 different games.
Yes, exactly. And Courtney, your question about if you have games priced differently, yes, you can just go ahead and put a different amount in the custom intake box. So let's say in our instance, we had 2 of the games were worth $30, but one was worth $60. Absolutely. We would put 30 in the bill for those and then 60 in the one for that was a little bit more expensive, for example. Absolutely. Great question. Other questions about this flex plan technology? It's very powerful, but it does take a couple elements, so it's a little bit more of a complex build. But when you understand how it works, I can tell you we've done programs with we did a program with an NHL team that used this technology, a buy one game, get another game in a different month. It sold over $1 million. So this does work, and we had little to no support issues, I will say, in regards to the usage of the platform or how to do it. Unfortunately, it spanned a little bit of COVID, so we did have some issues with that, but this technology does work and it is very, very powerful.
I'll just point out in the free tier program here, if you go back in and now we go to codes, remember when we made this program, we didn't add any codes. So when Denise purchased the 3-game plan, it automatically generated her code. So if someone else goes and purchases now, there'll be another code. So it's a very familiar structure for you because you already know what a free tier program is. And you can go in and see which codes have been used. So now we know she has this code. She bought 2 3-game flex plans. So she has 6 units total. She can use a max of 2 per event, right? Because she bought 2 of these. And here it is. So if for some reason you needed to generate another code to give someone for free, you can. But it's a very familiar structure right here. If you wanted to add games for the redemption, you can. We can go to Flex Plan Redemption, Terrace Preferred. We can add games, change things up. You have complete control of that redemption page. Now, if you wanted to add another seating zone, again, there's a little more work. You'd have to have another free tier program.
Correct.
So we have the 3-game Flex Plan Terrace Preferred, but if we wanted another seating zone, we would add another free tier program for the second seating zone. We would add the second redemption group.
Correct.
So right now we have Flex Plan Redemption Terrace Preferred. We'd have another one. And that's it. Then you would just have to go into the Flex Plan purchase.
And build the new offer
Build a
with
new
those
one.
2 elements. Yeah.
That's right. So now you don't need another group for this because you're just adding another offer, the other seating zone, the fan zone. And then you would attach, or you would do the Flex Plan for fan zone.
Any questions on that feature or any of the things we discussed today? Immersive design, free tier programs. Hopefully this session you got a lot of good information, maybe some new ideas of different ways that you can use our platform.
If
No
you're doing an airline, you should always get an airplane taking off.
Always, always, always. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us for this session. We will be in touch with the DoorDash gift cards. Thank you for your patience last time. We had some issues with DoorDash declining my credit card, so it was all sorts of fun. But this time we'll make sure that it is we've gotten it figured out. We're gonna make it smoother. So stay tuned for that. And as always, if you need us for any builds or anything that you're working on, we're here. We will have some upcoming things regarding what's working now as we get into the season, and then stay tuned for a special holiday edition of our training sessions to talk about some different things that you can do to maximize those amazing days, Black Friday and Cyber Monday, as well as some other ideas for just holiday plans in general. So thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.